Hey, 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 my name is DJ Brie, and welcome to the local scene with DJ Brie, episode 1. Today we are talking about the amazing local band hailing from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania called Wild Red. I knew when I heard them for the first time, I knew this is kind of what I wanted to do, to have a place where bands all over from the NEPA scene can showcase their work, can talk about their work, or a place where I can just talk about them myself and nerd out, geek out, and introduce everybody out there who wants to get into the local music scene in NEPA, to introduce them to new music. So I'm so excited to talk about them today. They are, I guess, what you would consider a post-punk slash rock band. As I said, from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Such a fantastic group of guys. They began releasing music with their set of demos in 2020. So right after or right in the middle of COVID, they released their first set of demos that had a very distinguishable sound. It was driving riffs, very rock, very driving, but had very electronic vocals, which will continue to be a kind of trademark of the band's sound to this day. They then released their 2021 EP called Brain Squeeze, which is the first EP that I listened to when I had a group of friends say, like, hey, there is this skate jam happening. It's their second annual skate jam happening at a place called Bazaar Skate Shop. So it was just behind the skate shop, a bunch of people getting together, having the show, having good food, good times, selling merch. And it was a way to sort of celebrate the end of the summer and get together for a final time, just as a really chill, great outdoor show. So Wild Red, for some reason, kind of struck my interest, and so I started researching their music. And so Brain Squeeze is the first EP that I listened to. So their tracks Cheap Divorce and Listerine were especially memorable to me because of the songs that I first could kind of clock in my brain as being like, I remember this is catchy, and this is something that I want to keep listening to. So I remember they actually opened with their track Cheap Divorce, which is such a great song, kind of like how I said their sound, having that driving sound underneath in the instrumentals and very electronic on top for the vocals. And that's kind of what they said that they wanted their direction initially to go in, is kind of a sound that can kind of be compared to early releases of like Sum 41, Blink 182, even a little bit of Green Day. So I can definitely see where those influences came from. And the band does talk about taking on a new direction later on. But before we get into that, they released another collection in 2022 of singles that really kind of continue with those influences. And frontman and vocalist Jonah David, who I had the pleasure of talking with about a week and a half back, he's been releasing music with this band Wild Red for the past couple of years, but really made a name for themselves in the local scene more recently. So now you can see their names at the top of bills, performing alongside other local bands. But they're the band that you'll see, at another local show somewhere in Kingston, let's say, and there's going to be somebody wearing a Wild Red T-shirt, along with me, of course. They're like the band that, like, we're gonna go see a local show, represent with Wild Red. They're definitely also a band that is easier to get into compared to what maybe the Wilkes-Barre scene especially is known for, definitely more like hardcore punk. So their music is definitely a great introduction to local music if you are more into, let's say, like something like post-punk or rock music with still like an independent sound to it. which of course they have, which has its own charm in itself. So they've also made a name for themselves, of course, in the Wilkes-Barre area, but beyond because of frontman Jonah Davis also being a member of the band, the post-emo band Hot Mulligan, who is at time of recording actually performing with the band Pierce the Veil in Latin America right now. And I'm very, very excited for them because it kind of shows that even musicians from the local area, they can do something bigger than themselves. They can get their name out there in more ways than one and really spread their name and experience things around the world, even if you're just from a little town in Pennsylvania. So I thought that was very, very cool. And of course, I got the opportunity to ask him about that, as you will see later on as well. Their more recent projects include 2023's, I believe it was 2023, yeah, their EP called Jimmy. What a name, right? And I'd say their two most memorable tracks from that include the title track, Jimmy, and Pictures of You, which it's their single, it has the music video, it's up on their channel and definitely has garnered, I think, some of the most attention. You look at their Spotify, that's kind of the song that you might associate them with. So for all of you who want to get your first taste of Wild Red, if you haven't heard them yet, Jonah Davis had allowed me so kindly to plug some of their music here on the podcast. So this is Wild Red's Picture of You.
I'm hiding out, find me fast asleep next to frozen telephone lines, drawing pictures of you, and I'll float away. My head is tied in nylon string, and I go larger every day. This is not the first time that I got caught up in my routines, got lost in my lucid dreams. This way, I won't be crawling today. I'll make the best of a bad decision. And I'm finding out everything I knew was fake, right down to the clothes on my skin and the vitamins I take. So I'm hiding out. You won't find me by the lake or in the garden. I'll be lost and you'll be wondering. This is not the first time that I got caught up in my routines, got lost in my lucid dreams. This way, I won't be crawling today. I'll make the best of a bad decision. And maybe the world is falling away, but I won't cower to their opinions. Someday I will come back here to stay. I'll take what's left of my own indifference. This way, I won't be crawling today. I'll make the best of a bad decision. And maybe the world is falling away, but I won't cower to their opinions.
That was Wild Red's Picture of You. Such an underrated track. Such a great creative direction they're going in, especially for one of their first most recognizable singles. Definitely an underrated track all around that I think people, not only in the local scene, but it should just be more well known overall, because it's really such a great track. Now, going into even their most recent projects and plans for for Wild Red, their latest single called Gasoline. It was put on streaming last year, and it definitely introduces a more refined sound. something that you'll go and you go, yeah, that's definitely Wild Red, but like they're doing something with this. This is something a little more like that says this is who we are as a band. This is our sound. This is the direction we're gonna confidently go in. And even in a more charming aspect to it, though, even though it is they're probably their most refined track yet. Their cover art for the song on Spotify, if you look, it's them playing a show outside of Bazaar Skate Shop, which is the show that I went to when I first got to see them play live. So having them on the podcast, as you'll see, and promoting their latest single, who, you know, it's promoted with that picture of the show that I was at when I first saw them live. I'm like, this is such a cool full circle moment. That I'm like, yeah, I'm in that crowd, and that's the beauty of local music. Being in that crowd has such energy, and you know the people are just as much as part of the gigs as the bands are because everyone is having fun together. There's no hierarchy. There's no trying to be elitist or better than somebody else is. And if that's the case with some people, honestly, nah. It's the people who really like are just chill with each other, want to share their new music with each other, and want to get their name out there because everybody is united under this one goal: the love of music and promoting their music. So it's really really awesome and electric to be part of a local gig like that. And that's the beauty also is that you look at some cover art sometimes, maybe somebody in some way is connected to the things you love in a local scene. And part of that is why I felt very lucky to sit down with Jonah David, of course, frontman and vocalist, to talk future projects, his vision for the band, and of course what life is like on the road, both with Hot Mulligan and with Wild Red. Take it away.
Um, Gasoline's kind of more of like a return to form, so I don't know. I think I'm like the primary songwriter for the band, and so I kind of just make what is inspiring to me and what I think is cool and would be fun to play live, and whatever that ends up being, we'll just put it out. Hopefully people dig it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of lyrics, I was gonna say that a lot of Wild Red's music seems like personal lyrically. So you said you were the sole lyricist. Do you have any inspiration, other bands or personal experience that helps you with writing music?
I think a lot of times when I'm writing lyrics, like especially for this band, I try to write from other people's perspectives, like, or just kind of like create a narrative or a story. There's a group that I really like called Belle and Sebastian, and I watched a documentary about one of their albums, and the singer said he would just get on the bus or the train and just look at someone and try to imagine like what they're doing that day or like what is happening in their life. And I think that's like a really interesting way to approach songwriting and lyrics. So I try to do some of that. Some of it's personal, but most of it is like, yeah, just trying to create a narrative and write from like a fictional standpoint.
That's interesting. Yeah, a lot of bands tend to go the personal route, but that's a cool, unique direction to go in. Kind of just imagine how other people might see a certain situation. And now sonically, you said as you were kind of transitioning more into a different sound or just kind of taking it wherever it might go.
Mhm.
Do you have any musical influences, whether it's coming up with riffs or just kind of production wise?
I've been listening to a lot of like older Saves the Day. Um, and like when they first started, I believe they were around the same time and like taking inspiration maybe from a band called Lifetime. And it's like it's still pop punk, but it has more of like the hardcore um influence, I guess.
Mhm.
Like if there wasn't a person singing on the song, if a person was screaming rather, it would just be a hardcore song, but because you're singing on it. So I kind of wanted to like try to incorporate that more with the stuff that I'm writing now.
Yeah, that's really great. Kind of the mix of the harder with the more sonic vocals sonically. So kind of going into the next thing, I think I have this right. Are you also the guitarist for Hot Mulligan? Is that correct?
Yeah, I play bass, but yes.
Bass. Okay, I'm sorry. So they're kind of huge. That's kind of a big deal to like have like an internationally touring band. So I wanted to ask how that kind of compared to playing local shows, whether that's the crowd or just
Yeah.
getting set up. Like, how does that compare touring with such a huge band compared to Wild Red?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously a lot different. I've been playing in bands locally for over 10 years now.
Nice.
And so, before playing with Hot Mulligan, I think the biggest shows I ever played were maybe in front of 500 people.
Mhm.
That's like being gracious, because some of my older bands got like the chance to go on small tours and stuff. So we played some like mid-size venues, but nothing crazy. And then going to like Hot Mulligan, I think the first show I played with them was like a sold out 1,500. And then throughout the last couple of years, like we played a sold out show at Madison Square Garden, like and playing in front of like that many people. So it's a lot different. I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It's just a different experience. But I'll always have like a love for playing local shows and smaller like DIY shows. That's my bread and butter. That's what I came up on. So I don't think I'll ever want to stop doing that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And you said you playing at Madison Square Garden must have been a kind of surreal
Yeah.
experience. Is there any like pre-show rituals that you do to get out any nerves or anything to get you prepared?
Not really. Sometimes we usually have like a Bluetooth speaker. Sometimes we'll listen to music that gets us hyped up, but usually you just kind of sit around all day. Like
Yeah.
it's not very exciting. You sit in the green room and maybe you try to like exercise or go to the gym earlier in the day, but like pre-show, it's a lot of sitting around and like we've been touring so much the last 3 years that now like we pretty much have friends in every city.
Wow.
So like you're just hanging out with and talking to people that came out to the show, and then eventually someone will come get you and say you got 10 minutes to get ready and go on stage.
Yeah, no pressure, right?
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
in there. That's really incredible and admirable for somebody to play, locally and say, hey, I can also go out and do do some pretty big stuff as well. Kind of transitioning back into personal, like kind of more the smaller projects of Wild Red. I've taken a lot of look at like your music videos and things like that, especially with your new release Gasoline. And the only thing I could think of is like where were you guys is like your heads at making the video? Because it just seems like you guys have so much fun. Was there a specific concept going on there or
Yeah, that was all mostly our drummer Dan. He works in film.
Hmm.
He does like a lot of commercials and music videos and stuff. And he said he had that idea, like he wanted to do it he plays in a bunch of bands.
Hmm.
And he said he's wanted to do it for a while. And I was like, that sounds perfect for us. Like we just did the Pictures of You video, which is like way more serious and like cinematic. So I was like, let's do a fun video that's just stupid and like silly. And so yeah, that was all his idea. All I had to do was get the costumes from Spirit Halloween, and
nice?
and then yeah, him and our friend Carl just made it happen. We did it in a day, and it was a lot of fun.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. I was just like, that's the only thing I can think of to ask because it was just such a like fun video. Seems like just a day with friends. So speaking of music videos, you mentioned Pictures of You. It's very different conceptually. Do you have a favorite music video that you have filmed or maybe something planned for the future you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean the Pictures of You, I think that's like that's definitely my favorite Wild Red music video. I had nothing to do with it though. Like I wasn't there when they filmed it.
Hmm.
It wasn't my idea. Like the people who made the video approached Dan and they were just like, "We want to make this. We have a concept for a music video. We need a song." And he was like, "I got you." So
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
kind of just like fell into our laps, which is amazing because it turned out so good. Um, so I would say that one is my favorite. I really like the most recent Hot Mulligan video that we did for the song Fly Move.
Mm.
That was a really cool experience because we had this it's like a machine that holds the camera and it just like spin or like moves really fast back and forth. And it's like you have to hire someone to operate it. Like you have to have a license to use it because it's I guess it's dangerous, but that was just a cool experience like seeing something like that come together because pretty much every other music video I've been involved in, there hasn't been like a budget for necessarily. It's like we have, 500 bucks or something. Let's hire one of our friends to make a video for us. That's been my experience for most other music videos. So that was kind of my first one, like having a real budget and being there and seeing like there's like 20 people working on it. So that was a cool experience too.
For sure. Yeah, and comparing the local to the larger, more high budget scene, do you have a favorite show overall with any of your projects that you've ever played, a favorite venue, favorite show that made something special?
Hmm. I mean, it's hard to say. There's a few that stick out. Like the first time I played Riot Fest with Hot Mulligan was a really good one. And that is cool because there's a video, I think it's on our channel of like the whole set. So like you can just I can relive it whenever I want. But it's like that set was really good. And then there's one show we played at the Chicago House of Blues that was like because I had been touring with them for 2 years, not I was just like a touring member. I wasn't a member of the band, and that was the show where they like officially put me in the band. So that one obviously sticks out. Um, and then MSG, of course, like that, it wasn't like necessarily a lot different from the other shows on that tour because they were all in like those kind of arenas, but it's just such a legendary venue that like I never once had a thought that maybe I would play there one day. So
Oh yeah,
um,
definitely.
that one, and then with Wild Red, like there's been so many fun local shows, but I love all the shows that we've done outside at Curry Donuts.
Yep. Yeah.
Just playing outside in the parking lot in the summer is a incredible vibe.
Yeah. First time I saw you guys was Bazaar's second skate jam.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I hope they play Cheap Divorce. And that was the song you guys opened with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of like the show that got me into like the local scene.
Nice.
So thank you guys for that and having like
Yeah.
that
Those are
first
always so much
impression.
fun. And
Yeah.
people just like skating around and it's usually free. So it's cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. The environment there is just so electric. Yeah, so and then you mentioned about you were playing with a bunch of other bands at Riot Fest, for example, and of course when you're doing local shows, there's a ton of other bands that are always with you guys. Is there anybody that like you've made friends with other bands? Anybody that maybe you wouldn't expect?
As far as like Wild Red, I think our first like weekend run that we ever did was with a band called Standstill.
Okay.
And we went into it like not knowing any of them. And we were just like, our music kind of makes sense together. Do you want to do some shows? And that ended up being super fun and like we got along with them super well. Same with a band called Get With This. They're from
Okay.
Florida. Um, we kind of we knew some of them, but not all of them. But yeah, just like we've done that a couple times, and each time we just make new friends, and you end up keeping in touch, and it's always fun to do that. And with Hot Mulligan, like we've toured with so many different bands that I've just like a lot of people like that I've remained close with. I mean, with those tours, they're sometimes 6, 7 weeks long. So like you spend a lot of time with these people for a concentrated period of time, and then you don't see them again until like, maybe you're playing in their city and you're like, come hang out. And so it's like the thing I was talking about before, like when you're on tour, you see a lot of people that like you're like, oh, we went on tour like a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. And
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
for sure. Well, that's great. Everyone's like kind of their own little community, especially in the local scene.
Yeah,
Kind of just seeing repeat people and just knowing that those people can really make you feel like there's a tighter community there.
yeah.
Um, so as for Wild Red, and I'm Morgan, if you can say anything, is there anything that you guys are working on now for the future?
I can say for Wild Red, we are going into the studio, I believe in March for a couple days. And we're gonna do a split record with another band. I don't want to say who it is yet, but um, it's a band that I think makes a lot of sense, like a band that we've played with a lot. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's pretty much our plan. Other than that, we want to like try to do something this year, like get out and play some places that we haven't before.
Mhm.
Because so far we've pretty much just played like here a lot. We've done like weekends where we go like New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, whatever. And I love doing that, but we want to just like try to get out to some new places.
For sure. For sure. It's just love being on the road. That's like has to be such a like fun, free experience, just both on that smaller and larger level.
Yeah.
So then like overall for Wild Red, are there any particular goals like that you set out for the future when you think of maybe a couple years down the line, something you want to say that you've done?
I think for Wild Red, like the goal at the beginning and still is like just to have fun and like not put any pressure on it. Like
Sure.
it's strictly just to like play fun shows, hang out, and just like write whatever we want to write. And um, it's kind of like freeing to have a project like that where it's like, all right, I'm not banking on this band like being my career or anything. Like it's strictly for fun. So I think we're just gonna continue to move that way. And um, I'd like to have an LP, like a full length
Cool.
album at some point. I would say that's probably the main goal for the short term future.
For sure. Yeah, it could be really nice to just have, group of people you love playing music with. You mentioned when you were like on the road and things like that. How's life as somebody who's, hasn't toured before? How would you describe life on the road? Any particular challenges that come with it? Do you enjoy it for then
Yeah,
over
I
being
mean,
home?
I love it. I don't think you can do it if you don't,
Hmm.
because it's so like it takes up so much of your time. So if you're a person that doesn't enjoy like being in a different city every day and like living on a bus, like it's gonna get old quick. And I basically like 2022 to 24, like I was on tour, like I was only home for maybe 3 weeks at a time, and then the next tour would start. So like it was a lot, but I mean, I've done it like every single way you can do it, like in a van, we were in a bandwagon for a while, and now we're on a bus, and it's like now that like knowing what it was like before, and like honestly, like I like it every way, but just now like we're in a privileged position to just like be so comfortable, and that makes it a lot easier,
For sure.
just like being able to sleep at night and like not drive 6 hours overnight to the next city. Like that it makes a huge difference. But then like when I get to do Wild Red and I'm back in the van, I'm like, I love it, kind of miss it. But yeah, it's just it's different, but it's I mean my whole life, like my goal and my dream was to like make music a career. So that's kind of what you have to do if you want to make that your job.
Of course, yeah. Growing up, like wanting to do music, is there anything else that you ever thought about pursuing, or was music always really like your passion that you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean it was always music. I did go to college, like I got a marketing degree just in case.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't like music stuff didn't start working for me until like my last year of school.
Mm,
Like that's when I started touring.
cool.
Uh, but I was also like in high school and stuff, I was really into production. Like I make like beats and with like I have like a solo project called Fantasy Camp. So I was like doing that for a while.
Mhm.
And I thought that was going to be my career, like just being a producer. Um, but it just, you got to try different things and see what works. And I still produce all the time. Like I still love doing it. And that could be something like in the future, maybe, but
Yeah.
it's slowed down a bit just because I'm so busy.
Oh, for sure. Well, it seemed like it really worked out for you, kind of living the dream.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, both in kind of the best of both worlds. Um, Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks
Of
for your
course.
time. Is there anything else you wanted to plug or say before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say my first 2 years of school, I went to Marywood
Oh,
and I
nice.
worked at the radio station. I was the music director, I think was the
Awesome.
title. And I used to get like 500 CDs every month and try to listen to most of them if I could. So
Yeah.
shout out to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Studio B right now. Somebody's right next to me doing their shift. So
Very cool. Yeah, it
yeah,
was cool to bring the podcast kind of idea to the radio.
yeah, yeah. And so also you're also my first episode, first person to
Nice.
come on. So thank you so
Sweet.
much. That's kind of a perfect full circle moment.
Yeah, no problem.
So
Thanks for having me.
yeah, no problem at all. Have a great one, and I hope to catch you at the next Wild Red show.
Sounds good. See you there.
All right, see ya. Thanks.
Bye.
Talking with Jonah definitely makes me excited to catch them at the next Wild Red gig. And for anyone who wanted to check out their most recent things and more tracks from them, don't worry because I have Gasoline right here on the podcast for you to listen to. Such a great song, and also if you're watching this visually, the music video as well, just such a banger. And you can tell that they were just having, as he said, so much fun with this. Very laid back, very fun, and that definitely translates to the music. So without further ado, this is Wild Red's Gasoline.
Could it be I'm a freak and it's not for lack of trying to be clean? I am up to nothing good, never doing what I should. Now I'm filling up my guts with gasoline. I thought you'd wanna know. Could it be between our sheets this unholy matrimony? You and me has been filling up my guts with gasoline. I thought you'd wanna know. With hands unclean, this guilt is killing me. Dear Juliet, it's coming round again. I think it's time to repent. With gasoline, we'll burn for secrets that we keep. Our hands unclean. We'll let this secret die with me.
That was Gasoline by Wild Red. Just what an incredible song. Definitely like my go-to jam song right now for like drives in the car, getting ready for work. It's just like one of those songs that you're like, this should be more well known, which is exactly the reason why I'm here. And hopefully it can get out there somewhere into the great void of the internet to be promoted and found somewhere else out there beyond just, being the local NEPA scene. So I'm so excited and so happy to be able to talk with them and to be able to talk about them and promote their music here on the podcast. So thank you guys so much for joining me on episode 1 of The Local Scene with DJ Brie. I will catch you guys next time. More to come, more exciting bands to come. So definitely stick around and I will see you guys next time.